All right, I am going to try this out. I have a pen to write on my screen. I notice this is one of the problems you were having trouble with, a one-to-one function and doing the inverse function. So first of all, if I have my problem, which says h of x equals 4x over 7x minus h. And it wants you to do the inverse of that function. And so to do the inverse of a function, basically you're switching the x's and the y's. I might do this in a little bit different order than on the ALEKS program, but I like to do my switching right away. So first of all, I take it out of functional notation and replace the h of x with y. So I'm going to write it as y equals 4x over 7x minus 8. And then to do the inverse of the function, I'm going to change my x's to y's and my y's to x's. So I have x equals 4y over 7y minus 8. Now I have to solve that for y. So in order to solve that for y, the first thing I need to do is get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the 7y minus 8. And over on the left-hand side, I'm going to use my distributive property. So I'm going to have 7xy minus 8x equals, on the right-hand side, I can cancel, so I just get the 4y. The next thing I'm going to do is move my y's to one side, my x's to the other side. So I am going to leave the 7xy where it is. I'm going to minus the 4y to move it over. And I'm going to add the 8x to move it over. So now I have 7xy minus 4y equals 8x. The next thing I do is factor that y out of each of my expressions. So y is going to equal 7, whoops, y is not going to equal that. Just a second, let me erase that. Find my eraser here. Oops, that didn't erase. All right, maybe if I click on eraser, there we go. Take a while for me to erase. All right. So y times, I got to factor it out. Y times 7x minus 4 is going to equal 8x. Now I can go ahead and divide by the 7x minus 4. So that cancels out. Y is then equal to 8x over 7x minus 4, which in functional notation would be h to the negative 1 equals 8x over 7x minus 4. So once I have that solved, it also asks me for the domain and the range of my function. To find the domain and the range of the function, I am going to do the domain of the inverse function, and then for the range, the domain of my original function. So for my domain, I'm going to say that the 7x minus 4 cannot equal 0. And for the range, I'm going to say that the 7x minus 8 cannot equal 0. If you solve that, you would add the 4 and divide by 7. So x cannot equal 4 over 7. And for the range, I'd add my 8 and divide by 7. So x cannot equal positive 8 over 7. You then have to put that in inverse notation, which basically is going to look the same for both of them, just replacing what numbers you have in there. I'm going to sneak it up here in the middle. For my domain, I would go from negative infinity to that 4/7, and then union 4/7 to positive infinity. 4 doesn't look very good. For my range, I'd go from negative infinity to 8/7, and then 8/7 to infinity. Hopefully that answers some questions. Let me know.